Gentlemen, and welcome to this edition of Prime Time Newscast in the English language on Canal International. I'm Claude Morinzi at Top Stories. Countdown to end of year gradually narrows. The streets and markets of the nation's economic capital Douala are witnessing an unprecedented frenzy. Douala city dwellers, as well as other individuals from other parts of the country, have invaded the market for end of year shopping, something which is causing enormous traffic in major streets in Douala. And the second generation pilot incubation center of the Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Technological Development has officially opened its doors for the public. The center was officially inaugurated today. And the Northwest Regional Assembly will run a budget of 3,538 million francs CFA for 2022 after a three-day session in Bamenda. Members of the Northwest Regional House of Divisional Representative and House of Chiefs have parted ways this December 22. Those are major stories. Details right ahead. Good evening once more. As the countdown to end of year festivities gradually narrows, the streets and markets of the nation's economic city, Douala, are witnessing an unprecedented frenzy. Douala city dwellers, as well as other individuals from other parts of the country, have invaded markets for end of year shopping, thus causing enormous traffic in the markets and on major streets. More on the story with our reporter William Fro.
Circulation is apparently difficult in this festive period along the streets and in the markets of the Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. The Chinatown market is a hub in the central business district in downtown Accra. As a bike rider, times are really hard. There are passengers, but there is no money, and all roads are blocked due to traffic. For instance, a distance of 200 francs is now 400 francs, a situation which does not favor us at all. Many people who came to purchase goods were disappointed with the congestion and the hike in prices. We are in the market, but nothing is moving. Things are too expensive. There is no money. Only few people are opportune to buy stuffs. And this is because things are not moving well in the country. A product which was sold at 5,000 francs is now 10,000 francs. I, for one, I am going home without buying anything for my child due to the high prices.
I came to buy. They are a bit high. They are high because they know that the demand is much, so definitely their supply, they are increasing their prices. That's affected me because I'm not able to buy what is on my list.
Being the major business hub in the Central African sub-region, Douala will continue to witness such congestion as Christmas and New Year feast draw nearer.
A presumed gang leader reported to have robbed a number of beer depots in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, has been nabbed. He was presented to the press this Wednesday as a search for the rest of the gang members continue. More on the story with our reporter, Hyson Cha.
They were sweeping cash from one beer depot to another in the city of Yaoundé in broad daylight until when they met their waterloo at the Eke neighborhood on December 9 during one of their numerous operations outsmarted by the National Gendarmerie. It is a gang specialized in robbing beer depots. In less than 48 hours, they had succeeded to rob 4 structures here in Yaoundé without any fear. Their modus operandi, the presumed gang leader explains, when we arrive, we frighten them with our guns. We collect all the money from the drawers and disappear. The suspect refused. He is not the head, stating that he was deceived by more experienced men of the underworld. It was my first time I was lured into this by friends. We operated on Wednesday and Thursday. We attacked one person who died, and I was later arrested in my house in Douala. The search facilitated for the elements of the Yaoundé 3 gendarmerie units by surveillance cameras.
Le 9, aux environs de 16h30.
When we launched our operation that day at about 4:30 p.m., we quickly located them through video cameras. He pointed a gun at one of the gendarmes. They succeeded to escape. Their weapons of operation, guns of different categories, knives, hammers, axes, and a host of dangerous objects. These, the car used in their operations. While the scapegoat continued gnashing his teeth in custody, investigations continue to trap down 4 of the gang members still on the run.
And a suspect has been remanded in custody by the judicial police here in Cameroon's economic city Douala after he was hemmed by security forces following a tip-off. The suspect is reported to have been giving the residents of Logbesu neighborhood a sleepless night. More on the story with our reporter William Afro.
The suspect was presented to the press this December 22nd, 2021 by the Judiciary Police of Bonanjo. It was reported by officials of the Judiciary Police Department that a suspect, whose name is still concealed, is behind too many cases of burglary, harassment and looting at gunpoint.
Cette nuit-là, j'étais absent.
That night, my son heard some noise and checked what was going on. When he realized it was a thief, he then quickly got in the house and shut the door after him, shouting. The mother quickly contacted me, and I later contacted our neighbor, who rapidly frightened them with gunshots in the air and provoked them to run. During a security raid, the suspect was apprehended after he received gunshots on his leg. The gun you saw is for someone who came and forgot it in my house, and the machete is for work. They say I am a thief, that I know those guys, of which I don't. The scars on my leg is a result of gunshots I received back in 2011 when I left my house at 4 a.m. to buy some bread at the bakery. Then a police officer shouted at me to stop, and I instead started running. It was from there that he shot me on the leg. I seriously don't know those guys. One of his victims expressed a sigh of relief following his arrest.
C'est quelques jours plus tard.
Some days after I was relieved and surprised, the elements of forces of law and order brought him to my home, after which he confessed he was the one. Investigations on this matter are still ongoing.
A chain of over 30 spare parts and storerooms have been reduced to ashes by ravaging flames at the Vok-Ada neighborhood in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. The blistering fires reported to have sparked off from a wood or workshop at about 7 p.m. More on the story with our reporter, Beatrice Ngamu.
Small flames here and there, so too smoke, alongside heaps of iron, in, under and on top of ashes. The remains of the fire incident that occurred last night at the Kas Vok-Ada area.
It's more than 40 stores, and if you can watch now, none of the goods, no any goods that came out from the store. All the 40 stuff that I'm talking now, there's not even one goods that came out.
Painful and very difficult situation. Many of the victims have stores or shops alongside warehouses of spare car parts now burns. Some have just been stuck. Others have received money for items. The loss enormous.
Outside, I cannot even count, I cannot measure, because I can just say it's billions. It's billions that just vanish, just like that.
While the victims, Cameroonians and Nigerians alike, are still licking their wounds, thinking of a way out, the fire incident site has been transformed into a new business zone. The dealers in old iron parts invaded the area today morning, digging and searching for iron parts to sell. Young, old alike are involved in the new business.
The old iron we are gathering here today is very huge. One can say the misfortune of one is the happiness of the other. We are just profiting.
The victims surrender all to God, begging for a better tomorrow.
That's what happened now already happened. What we are asking God is good thing to happen tomorrow, not bad thing again. That's what we are asking God.
Courage and faith, they so badly need, especially as we are in a festive period, when their business, like many others, kind of flourish also.
The Northwest Regional Assembly will run on a budget of 3,338,538 million francs CFA for the year 2022. After a 3-day session in Bamenda, the members of the Northwest Regional House of Divisional Representative and House of Chiefs have parted ways this Wednesday, December 22, with some pieces of advice from the President on how to manage the people's numerous expectations. The 3 billion francs CFA from government was only announced 5 days ago, while the remaining 538 million is carried forward from the present budget, which has been voted today by acclamation. Let's listen to the President of the Northwest Assembly.
We'll carry out community activities. I hear loud and clear the Assembly asks, what visibility do we give to our population of the Regional Assembly? There cannot be any better visibility than recruiting our young ones who are in need of work, to give them the necessary jobs.
When your goods come, instead of going to Douala to clear them or Kribi, your goods under the control of the customs officials of Cameroon are shipped to Bamenda, and there you can clear them. The benefit to the region is that we have access to certain revenues which are enshrined in the law of decentralization. We have transfer of technology which would enable us to carry this function. We have jobs that will be created for the region.
We are not remaining indifferent from looking for things to come to normalcy. We've been struggling, going up and down to see how we make contacts, various contacts, to see that, in fact, normalcy come in our areas.
The second generation pilot incubation center, the Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Technological Development has officially opened its doors to the public this December 2021, December 22, 2021, while officially inaugurated a center that trains young people in food and livestock processing. The Minister of Mines said the effort will go a long way to fight unemployment and food insufficiency in Cameroon. More on that story with our reporter Gladys Ambo Dibang.
An era where COVID-19 pandemic had a serious blow on Cameroon's economy, the agricultural sector not left out, those affecting the food chain. Agricultural experts remain disturbed.
Challenge for, first of all, to overcome the COVID-19 impact. You know, it's not that we're feeling the impact of COVID-19 in agriculture. We already see the increase of price of many inputs and fertilizer. So that's the challenge that the farmer have to face. And then I think they raise it in their speech so that they call upon the government to assist them.
The official opening of the Littoral Mini Agro Pastoral Show this December 22, 2021 was an occasion to award farmers with best agricultural products in the Littoral region. An avenue described as encouraging best practices among farmers. This year's edition witnessed lots of innovations.
We have more food this year compared to last year. And then the population of Douala will increase by the spectators. So our farmers have to be ready to supply with the foodstuff.
At the side, Cameroonians of all walks of life keep streaming in to buy foodstuffs for Christmas. Others buy in bulk to retail in markets in their neighborhoods. They say the prices are much more affordable than skyrocketing prices of foodstuffs in markets. I think government needs to revive its agricultural policy so that we have abundant foods in the market and at affordable prices. For now, it's much more better here, but some Cameroonians cannot still afford. From cash crops, foodstuffs and livestock, this year Agric Show brought farmers from all nooks and crannies in the littoral region with one objective: to ameliorate production in 2022.
That was rather a report on the Littoral Mini Agro-Pastoral Show that officially opened its doors to the public today. We take this other story. The World Bank and the State of Cameroon have taken the engagement to provide good and better health facilities to the population, including the poor and the vulnerable. This through the performance-based financing approach, a new way of allocating resources and finances to health facilities. The expected goal is to improve the technical platform and reinforce human resources. More on the story with our reporter, Beatrice Ngamu.
The visit started here at the Sisters Hospital situated at Nomayos, Bankomo district in the Central region. Waiting room saturated with patients for consultation. This health center receives at least 400 patients a month, up from 200 patients before the performance-based financing PBF approach. The project has only not boosted the system, but reinforced human resources as well. 4 specialists newly recruited, generator for continuous energy supply in the face of power cuts, what has enticed patients, as the medical team explains here. The next stop, the Edip Como Integrated Health Center, still at the Bankomo area. Here also, the PDF project headed by the World Bank and the Cameroon government has brought great change. Thanks to the PDF project, they now offer quality treatment. The patients in the wards attest to that. She says they take good care of her sick child, while the army adds the care is good and is at ease. Positive assessment, same scenario at Mfo and Yaoundé, according to Fremin Bevang and team. They are very satisfied with the services this far.
After this run, you see a good impression of all the stakeholders, and we want to do the advocacy to maintain this project for the population.
Under the PBF approach, financing is provided to health facility after verification of results achieved, the quality and quantity of services to the population, including the poor and vulnerable. Shortcomings were somehow observed, but overshadowed by the quality of services provided thus far.
And the Bororo community has advocated for more empowerment of the family, who make up over 80% of the population. The family pharmacy, not only can they supply enough of food for urban centers, if empowered, the local actors stand a settler chance of fighting against climate change. More on the story with our reporter, Hyson Cha.
Most indigenous communities and a greater percentage of the Cameroonian population are very much involved in family farming practice, which permits the supply of foodstuffs to the urban areas. It is in this light that the Bororo community, through Mboskoda, this December 21st, is launching an advocacy for the integration of the agroecology into the climate change policy in Cameroon.
We cannot mitigate or get a better option to mitigate the climate change without bringing in the farmers. And these farmers are those who are small family farmers.
The need for the government to strongly empower the local farmers, rendering them more productive.
The government is making more emphasis on industrial agriculture or mechanized agriculture. But I can tell you, this does not fit up to 20% of our population.
The 2 days workshop, an occasion to sharpen more tools to drive the initiative to success.
We should also end up here with an advocacy document, which will have to call on all other stakeholders to, first of all, include agroecology into national climate policy framework in Cameroon.
Cameroon said to be lagging behind for over 4 years in this drive compared to other countries following international conventions signed in 2017.
And that report by Hysen Cha brings us to the end of this edition of Newscast in the English language on Canal de International. Thanks so much for watching. We have news in the French language at exactly 7:50. This never Senkango Alain Lenkanga. But coming up next is NC Valakan with Mark Shamu. As for me, I'll be back same time tomorrow. Good night.